close. Oh, Black Forest. I'm not surprised. I think they picked it against Tyrant. But yeah, high level Black Forest, don't see it too often. Gonna see it now. I mean, like obviously you do in rated games, but in terms of tournament settings, you do not see Black Forest that often. So the guy who wanted to go to work quickly, you could be in for a long game. Let's have a look what we've got. Okay, so it's like north v south if you look at the roads. On the left hand side, well actually I'm just going to look at civ difference. Got Mongols, Aztecs, Spanish, Celts versus Celts, Mongols, Spanish, Persians. So difference between the teams is Persians and Aztecs. And the Persians and Aztecs are facing directly opposite each other. They're both pockets on the left hand side, which is pretty interesting because you know, obviously Aztecs could just go really aggressive, a nice smush, but obviously they've also got great monks to counter Persian war elephants if Persians choose to do that, or even slightly more difficult in a slightly more difficult way counter against Persian paladins. So it's kind of interesting that the different civs between the two teams are directly facing each other, because it kind of almost allows you to think like which one was the better decision perhaps. But let's have a kind of fight so the walling goes. Seems like, well, it's hard to say, but we've got 4 villages in here for ACCM, so he could potentially get the better of that, but I don't know whether he's microed it better. I don't think he has actually. I think he's taken more damage on his scout than Vodka's scout and Dark Devil's villages, and those villages are looking kind of low HP. I've got a feeling that the outcome of that could be that Dark Devil gets the more forward wall. Let's have a look what happens over here. Pretty like even wall between the two players. Obviously it's a little bit forward onto VNS Fish, but it's just kind of in the middle of the players. But let's just see. No deaths for VNS Fish. Emin, no deaths either. So the only players that have kills and deaths are the Dark Devil and ACCM, but I don't know whether that was 2 scouts that went down. I think it was. I think both players just lost their scouts, but nobody lost villagers. And this is a kind of interesting wall in that both players could access that gold, which is actually the 3rd gold of Dark Devil. So because of that forward walling action, I haven't been able to say where all the players are. The Spanish flank over here with Persian Pocket. And that's Dark Devil and Vodka, so the Italian duo over here. And then we've got Mongol flank with Aztec Pocket. So it'll be interesting to see whether yellow is more like goes like smush in the Castle Age and tries to break the walls, or whether he tries to do like fast eagles or anything. Then on this other side we've got Mongol flank, so that's the similarity between the two teams, although the Mongols are on opposite flanks, so we could see some kind of thing where obviously the Mongol Imperial Age powerhouse just kind of makes the map turn in an anti-clockwise direction, if you know what I mean, like Mongols pushing down here, Mongols pushing up here. Mongol flank with for Emin, and then Yannick Pocket Celts versus VNS Cool Pocket Celts, and like VNS Fish flank Spanish. So it's kind of I think kind of like mirrored in a way, although obviously it's kind of like opposite side mirrors, because we've got 2 Spanish flanks, 2 Mongol flanks, and then Pocket Celts facing each other, and then the only difference is Persians versus Aztecs, but obviously Persians probably much more powerful civ once you get to the late game. And I guess at this point it's just what I want to do is I want to look for sneaks. So you see a grey dot running around in the territory of 13th Legion from yellow, but that's just a scout. Let's just try. Let me just look at the minimap and see if I can see anything else that looks like a sneak. Don't know. Where's that? Okay, that's from Cool in the Pocket. Yeah, I don't think there's any sneak going on, so it's just going to be, for now, just a case. Hole next to the gold. Let me have a look where that is. Oh, Yeah, that could be a one tile. I don't know. I wish I had my grid mods on to show you. I don't know whether those two tiles join there, if you can see what I mean, like the top edge of that tree and the bottom edge of the gold. But there's definitely a one tile gap there. I just think that tree might actually have it blocked. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But other than that, everything looks properly walled. Interestingly though, no wall here for Vodka or the 13th Legion in general. Oh wow! That is serious wolf hacks. Look at that. They took down the scout of Vodka and then Eagle plus 2 wolves, killing Vodka's 2 villagers, which I think were going to go and wall over here. And that means that Vodka, unless he just sends more and more villagers, which is going to set him back in the eco a lot, he's going to struggle to get this wall up, because these wolves are still here. And they're on like 1.5 wolves worth of HP, and there's still a scout with like 2/3 HP, and there's another wolf here. This is really setting Vodka back. I mean, you can catch up because he's Persians, but yeah, if this wall doesn't go up, then that makes the Aztec pocket smush from yellow very viable. Vodka's trying to be sneaky and go around here, but in doing that he's just going to get closer to this wolf and potentially aggro that, although it won't be enough to kill off the village. I shouldn't have thought, with this eagle being low health, to kill off a villager with the eagle being low health. And it looks like Vodka will get that wall, so that means that yellow won't have a completely unopposed smash through the middle. He will have to break a wall. But only Palisade going up for now. We'll see if he stonewalls that later on. But you could see a little while ago, like VNS were just typing 11, 11, 11. They found it really quite amusing. Those 2 villagers went down. I don't know whether they were like talking on Skype or TeamSpeak or something, because to kind of like tell all of their teammates that those villagers actually died, because they all seem to have known that the villagers went down, because everyone on the team was laughing. So, who's on water? It seems that both players for the VNS have, on this right hand side, have got lakes which they are docking and gaining the fish advantage from, whereas only one player on the opposite side of the map is doing so for the 13th Legion. So that's a kind of small eco difference between the two teams. You've got one extra player fish booming a little bit, well, not fish booming, but you know what I mean, gaining the advantage from the fish. Vodka's going to make a lumber camp here, which means he'll keep villagers here and probably stonewall this in the feudal age. You really don't want to just leave a palisade when you know the other team's got Aztecs, because Aztec smush will be through that wall in a heartbeat, and then you're kind of forced onto the defensive, and Vodka's behind, so at the loss of 2 villagers, so he probably really wants that stone wall to go up later on. I'm going to look at the populations for any players. ACCM going up with 22 villagers apparently, which seems very low, so wonder what his plans are. I guess one reason why he's kind of going up low could be that, like, low population for the game time is what I'm trying to say. Could be the fact that he had maybe had a really bad start, because he was kind of devoting a lot to this forward wall, and then I think probably had the worst time of it, even though the wall is kind of decent for him. But I'm not really sure if he's planning something funny on what he's actually trying to do.
Yes.
Feels like he might be okay with FC though, just about, because he's actually still taking a ball somehow. It strikes me as strange. I don't know whether maybe he stole a ball through the gap and I didn't realise, but it would be an explanation. I mean, he didn't push deer. He's still got a sheep left, and he's still taking a ball. So I've got a feeling he must have stolen one ball. But yes, there is a hole through here. I wonder if Dark Devil's going to make use of that, but it seems like he's just going to wall. Will he like wall it a bit and then go on the other side and sneak? No, he just wants to play it safe. think Vodka's actually going playing it even as safe as he possibly can with this wall, because he knows that the Aztec Smush could be coming through it, and not only is he stonewalling it up, but he's got an extra layer of protection from his feudal age buildings as well. But this wall in the middle hasn't been reinforced for now. Wonder if it's going to be done by Emin.
Yes.
Looking at Dark Devil, still only... Oh, he's just hit the feudal age. But I think it's just good that he's a little bit delayed from that walling. Like we said, ACCM and Dark Devil both committed so heavily into this villager wall for the war. Like, they sent a lot of villagers forward early on. They were devoting a lot of micro attention, and it looked like both players were kind of a bit behind in terms of age up times and everything. But Dark Devil actually kind of stayed a bit longer and then got that stronger population with the big fish boom on the lake. So I think he's going to end up being quite ahead of ACCM in terms of like booming power, but in terms of resources collected. But it's just that ACCM's going to have a 2-minute lead in castle age time on him. So whether ACCM can pull that back, it's difficult to say. You can see that VNS Yellow though is going to go for that smush, which we thought was likely when we saw that he chose Aztecs, and became even more likely when Vodka lost 2 villagers and left himself behind in terms of eco. We can see that Vodka is, like, he's on a low number of villagers considering that Persian TC work rate, and that is explained by those 2 casualties. But he's just going to wall and wall and wall because he senses the danger. I don't know if they have line of sight to any of that. No, I just wondered if there was any kind of like scout that had seen it or something. But I think all the scouts actually went down. First monk coming out for yellow, so that smush is going to get started soon. Over here, is there anything going on? Looks like Emin is just booming. Yannick is booming on the 3 town centres already. Booming for VNS Fish and booming for VNS Cool. So I guess Mongols just going to boom over here. Probably Dark Devil will do the same when he eventually gets the castle age. Pretty much certainly will, because he's walling the hell out of this choke point. So the only kind of non-booming action that's going to be going on the map is going to be here, where Vodka is just trying to desperately wall out VNS Yellow's smush.
Yes.
Yeah, this is 13th Legion's home map. They chose it against Tyrant too. And Tyrant, like Viper in particular, just is kind of like legendary for hating maps like Black Forest. But and Tyrant's strategy was literally just to make the game end as fast as possible. They were just so aggressive. And won that game quite convincingly against 13th Legion. But it looks like we're setting in for a much longer game here. Just seeing stone walls after stone wall coming up, and almost every player booming. So the kind of only question for the next few minutes is to just see who wins this battle of wall versus smush, basically. See if any action actually develops and they manage to break through the wall. Thank you for that, actually, that Vodka lost a 3rd to the Eagle. Didn't notice that, although... Yeah, I think there only was 1 villager here after a while, so maybe the Eagle came back and picked off the half HP villager. But, Vodka, you can only re-wall for so long when Aztec monks are there. He's going to have to re-wall much further back if he wants to carry on walling. And that gives VNS Yellow the ability to start making military structures inside the territory of Vodka, because he's converted that villager. Immediately drops a barracks with his converted villager. And I don't know where these 2 are going. They're probably just going to wall out Yannick, actually. I feel like that is probably the case. Although Yannick's actually just going to do it himself. I wondered if Vodka was just being charitable and trying to save Yannick. Vodka is now Xing over here to tell Dark Devil of the impending danger, and we're going to see re-wall here, but again, 1 layer of wall is only going to last so long. We're going to see multiple mangonels, and with monks backing them up, hitting the walls. And I feel like 13th Legion will just continue to lose ground over here. Just have another little look over here to see if anybody decided to do anything other than boom. Don't think so, because Yannick's just on those TCs and just building some walls to keep out yellow. And I think yellow will just concentrate on Dark Devil anyway. And actually Yannick's going to the Imperial Age as Celts with 60 odd villagers, which at 22 minutes. Which is interesting. Meanwhile, Dark Devil is getting banking. So is he going to do permanent Castle Age Sling? Is that like his plan for the whole game, or is it just that he's going to just help out his ally with the sling? I feel like, judging by this amount of stone walling, 4 layers of stone walls, Dark Devil is actually just going to do Castle Age Sling completely. So Yellow needs to be careful because although he's smushing, he could be facing a slung player. Well, he's definitely going to be facing a slung player, looking at just the crazy amount of rewalling. And he may not be able to do enough damage if Vodka is able to just make enough use of that sling and push him right back and then go on the offensive. See that Vodka is being forced away from these walls, and he doesn't have a choke point to wall now. You know, that was like the last choke point that he could do an easy wall across, and that, right now if he wants to do any more wall, it's going to be a huge wall across here. Wonder if he's the one who's going to be trying to fight this back militarily, or whether Yannick's going to come and do it with his Imperial. It's hard to say. Let's have a look at these X's. This is just, no, Yannick's going to concentrate over here. I think Emin is just saying like build your stuff here because he's Xing it and just saying like here's some space to go and build some siege workshops. But yeah, this is quite a low population for Yannick to be going up to the Imperial Age as Celts. So it remains to be seen what he's actually going to be able to do with it, because it's just not enough economy to actually make a kind of traditional post-Imperial Age Celt army actually work for him. Just doing okay, he's actually adding a barracks. So I wondered if he was just going to do pure siege and M was going to make the rest of the army and they were going to rush pretty quickly. But yeah, going straight into Onager, so we're going to see fast siege Onager from him. But it's only going to work, you know, you can't just like go in with siege Onagers. You need something else. So let's see what they're used to. He's going to do barracks, so I guess we're going to see Halberdier coming from him. But I doubt Emin is going to be ready as the Mongols to actually go with him, because Emin's still in the Castle Age, and he's going to be booming for a while longer because it takes so long to get Mangudai and stuff to support that. So Yannick is going to have to be really, really fast and kind of make those early units count if he really is just want to rush with fast Halb and SO really quickly. I'm going to just check who is receiving the sling from Dark Devil. I know he's been slinging Vodka a bit, but he's actually slinging Yannick okay, so that is why Yannick went up so early. And meanwhile, Yellow is actually slinging ACCM whilst he's smushing, because the amount of walls going up means that, you know, he can't actually make it pay off too much, so now he's just slinging his Mongol flank, I think. So that's why Yannick went up so early. He's actually getting all of the sling from Dark Devil. I assumed that Dark Devil was going to sling Vodka to help him defend against the smush, but I think walls have done their job, and kind of Yellow's just quitting out of that smush, deciding to sling himself. And now, after the only action that was taking place was in that choke point, and it was just being countered by endless rewalling, we're now seeing the action shift to the right hand side. You're going to see Yannick drop up a castle aggressively on these walls to try and break through. So basically we've got a different situation where the Spanish are slinging for the 13th Legion team, whereas Aztecs are slinging for the VNS team, and that means that Spanish are going to be in play for VNS, but that was probably going to be a Paladin Civ unless they make tons of conks, which isn't going to work too well against Celts. And I feel like the fact that Spanish are the ones in play over here is not really going to be too helpful at all when Celts can just, like when they're so far ahead and they've already got Siege Onager and you haven't got too much army or anything like that. You're not going to have like loads of bombard towers to stop the Celts. The Spanish are going to be in a lot of trouble over here. Finally, we're seeing actually not conversions at all. We're seeing the monks being cleaned up by light cavalry. And yellow now is probably just going to be full sling, full castle age sling, because his kind of usefulness and relevance to this game has expired. So we're going to see slung Mongols over here facing off against Asinga and non-slung Persians. So you feel like ACCM could win this side, but the fact is the other side is going to have massive trouble, and you may have to go over there and help out. You'd have to think so. See that VNS Fish is going to make Knights and eventually Cavalier and Paladin if he upgrades them, but with Halbs already flooding in, that's not going to be the very best play, and they feel like it's going to be a long time until Cool as the Celts and Fish as the Spanish actually kind of re-tech into something that can take down the Celt Halb plus Siege combo. And by the time they've actually figured out how to oppose this, Emin is going to be here with his Mongol elite Mangudai. In fact, he's already kind of making progress towards that. Really big boom, 145 villages, and it's starting to look hugely ominous on this right hand side for VNS. I think what's going to happen is ACCM is going to have to help on the other side, and the moment he does that, it almost gives Vodka free reign to go forward as Persians and kind of just do enough damage, because if ACCM is fully on the right hand side, Vodka's going to be unopposed here. He is behind. It's going to be a long time until Vodka actually is going aggressive, but I feel like he will be unopposed eventually once ACM has to fully help the other side. We can see that VNS Fish just has no answer to this at the moment. He's just literally just giving up a couple of TCs and just going to the back, not wanting to lose the army, because he can't fight this. There's just no way. And now we're starting to see Siege Rams and Elite Mangudai. This is suddenly starting to look really scary. Elite Mangudai with all the upgrades apart from, like one armor missing, some armor missing. And Thumbring, of course, coming in by the looks of it. And that combination of units is just very, very frightening when you're still on Castle Age Knights. And, Cavaliers isn't going to help you too much either. Don't know what calls or what stage of the call of the game Cool is at. He's got 130 vills, but he's only just getting Onagers and a couple of Void Raiders. Really low military count. And Yannick's already on 50 military, and even if a lot of them are Halbs, he's got Siege Onager, whereas VNS Cool has not, and the backup for Yannick is Elite Mangudai, which is just he's so much better than a few Cavaliers when all these Halbs are about. So I think that this kind of team strategy with Dark Devil slinging Yannick and Emin booming really well, and to support Yannick just a minute or two later has been really well executed by 13th Legion, and VNS have got their work cut out to stop them on this right hand side. Meanwhile, Vodka seems to be getting ready to go into mass paladins, which will work pretty well, I would have thought. Over here, VNS Yellow's not going to have much to stop that, but confined as he is to the Castle Age and being Aztecs. And of course ACCM is probably going to be occupied somewhere else on the map. can see that ACCM was trying to break into the walls of the Slinger Dark Devil just as I flicked away, but he needs to hurry up. He needs to do that very, very quickly, because there are a lot of layers of walls to break through on the left hand side, and meanwhile 13th Legion on the right hand side are very much in and destroying everything. You know, VNS Fish is starting to not exist anymore. His base is just been pretty much leveled. He's lost almost his entire base apart from like this back wood line and gold, and then just rebuilt some farmland over here. Still on nothing but some Cavaliers that are just totally obsolete when a bunch of Halbs and Elite Mangudai are about. This could be a nice little game changer though, if those Woad Raiders got in and killed some of the Halberdiers while the Mangudai was out of position. But great attack ground micro from Yannick, taking out all but 3 of the elite Woad Raiders as they closed in and threatened to destroy a lot of Siege Onagers quickly. Don't know if SO is coming in for ACCM. No, he's just on normal Onager at the moment. I don't know if he plans to get Siege Onager anytime soon. Yeah, he's clicked it. It almost feels like it'd be better off for him to just Siege Onager cut through here. The only thing is that will take a couple of minutes while the research comes in, and he doesn't have a couple of minutes. He needs to get into Dark Devil now, I feel like. And that's just not happening because Dark Devil has walled and walled and walled and walled. Still no Siege Onager for VNS. Cool, it's only just being researched. And I feel that, you know, they've just been so far behind on this right hand side, VNS, but they've also been incredibly outpowered by the units that the 13th Legion had, backed up by a great Castle Age Sling from Dark Devil as well. And there's literally been basically no resistance to this since the moment they break through. It's just been constant destruction of VNS Fish's base. And there's been no real attempt to mass up and take a stand against it. A few units here and there, like some Woad Raiders, but it's just been momentum that's just been growing and growing for the 13th Legion on the right hand side, and it's pretty much coming down to 3v4 now. I mean, there are 94 villagers still on the map for Fish, but 80 are idle, and it's not really an effective economy anymore, even if it does have some villagers. And it looks like Dark Devil has seen the vulnerability in his base, when expecting Siege Onagers to come in, or maybe he saw it, and he's going to try and wall everything here. Problem is, he hasn't walled this bit, and all this bit, and I'm guessing ACCM is finally going to be in. The question is, will it be too late? I guess what we want to look at now is Vodka ready to come and help? And the answer is kind of no. 17 Cavalier with Paladin still a minute or two away. Well, not going to stop the Mongols over here. But Dark Devil, Master Waller, is for now going to keep ACCM from breaking through on the left hand side of these walls, but I don't know about the right hand side. If ACCM just notices, he could get through there. Meanwhile, on the right hand side, VNS Fish, is it Fish? Yes, VNS Fish, Chucky P. Orion, has completely lost his starting base apart from this right hand side, which curiously 13th Legion don't seem to have noticed exists. You'd have thought they'd have gone over here and just done something about, just made sure there was nothing over here, but that Trebuchet's line of sight will have found everything, and here come the Mangudai to just clean up dozens of villagers. Meanwhile, finally, ACCM is in. Actually no, did Dark Devil get that? Yeah, he's rewalled again, Master Rewaller, but you have to think, so surely ACCM will break through soon. There's, you know, Dark Devil can't wall everything, surely. Or maybe he can. But what this does is it's buying time for Vodka to get a good mass of Paladins. Dark Devil has done just enough. The Sling has been extremely powerful. He's walled out well, and he's bought time for Vodka, even though Vodka is really far behind. And now we're getting some Siege Onager from Yannick coming over, and I think once we've got Siege Onager and Paladins in play over here, and Celt Siege Onager nonetheless, ACCM will probably won't be able to just get into Dark Devil and end like all of his economy and sling and trade. I think ACCM has taken too long to break through, and really it's just been stone walls that have denied him. Because ACCM has had Mangudai and Siege here for 5 minutes, and he hasn't been able to put them to any real use at all. Where are the Siege Onagers from Yannick? Don't know if they went down. Where are they? I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, of course, sorry, there they are. Completely blind, can't see the wood for the trees. Can't believe I made that pun on Black Forest, but whatever. Yeah, Vodka was going to need more Paladins there, and I think Yannick needed like 2-3 more Siege Onagers to shoot, to be microing them at the Mangudai in order to hold that. And ACCM is in, so that's going to be trade going down for 13th region, and that's quite important. I mean, obviously VNS's trade is pretty rubbish as well, from here to here, and not many carts, but ACCM finally doing the work. The problem is that the Celt player on the right hand side of the pocket for VNS Call, he's not going to hold this either. This is just going to keep coming and coming and coming, and even if the trade for 13th Legion is cut off in the left hand side, they can probably just build markets here, which they're doing instantly, trade over to here, and you know, with Spanish that's going to be good trade lines still. And ACCM, you know, if he kills Dark Devil at this point, it doesn't matter, because VNS Fish, Chocopi Orion is basically out of the game, and I would suggest it's not going to be that long until VNS Cool is too, and at that point you've got a Slinger and a Mongol player against probably 3 players. So if really, in order for VNS to stay in the game, ACCM has to kill not only Dark Devil, but he's got to kill Vodka and get into this new trade line and destroy that as well. But otherwise, this is just going to be decisive, I feel. Although actually, VNS Fish is not out of the game completely. He does actually have some Paladins massed up back here, and I'm going to guess that the fact that he was left to continue collecting resources over here, he mined a whole gold pile over here, he's mining this one, and that is probably what's been able to allow him to get massive Paladins, along with most likely some Sling from VNS Yellow. Second castle coming up on this line for ACCM, and if he gets that up, then that basically castle walls out 13th Legion from getting over to help Dark Devil. And Dark Devil is on 60 population and hiding in the corners. He did manage to escape some vills, so he's not going to be defeated, but he's not really too much of a factor in this game anymore, because any sling he does from this point will be very weak, and he's probably more interested in using those resources to reboom. So Yannick has lost his sling, but he's on 110 villagers, and that doesn't matter so much, but it seems like a great fight actually happened here. Yannick down to 47 military, Emin down to 45. Is that due to him? Yeah, Emin's gone over here to sort this out actually. That's why they lost that fight over there, because Emin is no longer concentrating on the right hand side, and that meant that it was a kind of 2v1ish against Yannick, and he just lost his push for now. So I think VNS have bought themselves plenty of time, but I don't think they are ahead in this game at all. I still feel like 13th Legion are still very much ahead. Emin, obviously, if he comes over here and Yannick devotes more attention over here with more siege, they're just going to push ACCM all the way back. And actually, interestingly, VNS Fish has come over here with Paladins, so suddenly all the players are concentrating on the left hand side. After we've spent the last sort of 20 minutes looking at the right hand side, watching all the action unfold there, except for ACCM trying to push through these walls, now all of a sudden everybody's on the left hand side. But look at this trade route that the 13th Legion want to establish from the south corner to the top right. That will be a really great trade route too with Spanish, and if they're able to hold it, it would be a big difference Problem is that I actually don't see them establishing that trade route and holding it, because right now Yannick's here by himself, and that's a real problem against both Paladins and Siege from the Celts and Elite Road Raiders. You can't hold this alone, and Emin really needs to get back here. Otherwise they could find themselves losing all of this ground that they actually gained. Yeah, and really the number of Paladins that Fish has now, as someone is saying in the chat, he has to be getting the sling. So there's no real need to be slinging Mongols anymore, because you know, he's fully boomed. He's probably got good trade at this point, and so it's wise to start slinging the player who was really knocked back. I don't know if vodka kind of low on food and gold to continue spamming Paladins, and right now it's looking kind of even, just a couple of Siege Onagers, and a few Mangudai. But actually no, ACCM, a couple more Siege Onagers and more Mangudai, so it feels like this push could continue with just a couple of Trebs or Siege Workshops, Siege Rams, sorry, to help them push in here. That wall seems a bit self-defeating. But on the right hand side, we see that VNS are pushing back, and this, you know, if 13th Legion starts to lose ground, this is looking like a great comeback, and VNS actually have got the score lead significantly now, because Dark Devil is no longer a factor in the game, whilst Fish has actually come back quite nicely with the help of that sling from Yellow. And you know, I feel that this is kind of just so strange, because we had 3 players devoting quite a lot of attention over here, not full attention, but quite a lot of attention over here, and ACCM is beating him back, even though he's no longer getting slung, or probably not being slung solely anymore. And I think it's just good. Vodka's probably not been trading the whole game, and suddenly he's out of gold. I've been on his point of view for quite some time, and he's only had a couple of hundred gold all that time, and he's just spamming Hussars, which isn't going to work against Mangudai. Besides some like very small amount of tanking, and he's just got no Paladins, which means Emin has to come over here to help out. And then whilst Emin comes over here, Yannick just loses against Fish and Cool. So on this kind of like overall strategic level, this is looking quite bad, because it feels like both flanks for 13th Legion are kind of collapsing. I mean, they're holding here now and they're kind of pushing back a little bit, but it's at the cost of Emin completely vacating his side and leaving Yannick to die. So you know, it's just very interestingly poised now. It's hard to say who wins, but I do just feel like it's just very slightly in favour of VNS. Have they actually? They still haven't deleted this wall. What are they doing? Don't get it. But they're just destroying their own trade with this, and suddenly the trade for VNS is starting to look pretty nice. They could clean it up a little bit, but that is a lot of cards, even if it's not the longest line in the world. And yeah, they don't have Spanish either, but this is an absolute mess. Someone needs to take SO and cut that, or just at least delete the wall. It serves no purpose. And ACCM's starting to falter a little bit now. There are admittedly a lot of Hussars for Vodka and with a few Mangudai for Emin. They are cleaning this stuff up, but Yellow, even in the Imperial Age now, I don't know if he's going to do any army other than pikemen. I'm not really sure what his plans are. Well, I would need to go and have a look in his base and look here as well, but I just want to show you the fight on the right hand side, because this is a huge push from Cool and Fish. Yeah, Fish now. I keep getting constantly confused by that Chocopio being Fish thing. Huge amounts of Celt Siege Onagers, Paladins, lots of Cat Rams from Spanish, Elite Road Raiders, and Emin wisely is back here with more of his Mangudai now, trying to defend this, but this is a huge push. All of Yannick's forward production facilities are going to be lost at least, even if Emin doesn't lose all his castles. And Yannick doesn't have army production elsewhere on the map. Like, he's got no barracks, well, he's got a few here actually, but... And Emin's busy losing his castles to 2 rams, which will ram down that castle, whilst Emin's Mangudai just run straight past, completely ignoring it. I mean, someone actually X'd this, and yet still 2 rams are taking down 2 castles for Emin. which is just really bad. This trade's still not being cleared up, even though the wall has actually been deleted. And Mangudai from Emin are just completely blocking it. I would have thought Yannick with it, like, what he has a siege workshop here, just cut this down. It's going to kill you if you don't. At least they're starting to kind of push back over here, so ACCM is not threatening to kill them, but they're really not going to actually be pushing into ACCM's base anytime this year, really. And as I said, Yannick now has nothing here. A few siege workshops, but there's no point popping siege weapons out of here because they'll just die instantly. And Emin's probably going to lose 2 more castles, and I think that if we look at his point of view, how many castles does he actually have? He's got one kind of in the middle of the map. He's got a couple more here, so he could still be on 3 castles, but 3 castles is not a lot as Mongols, and right now Emin needs to actually be doing a lot of work as Mongols. At least he's got the stone almost to get another one, but he has no gold really because the trade is terrible. And suddenly I am starting to look at this and think I'd be surprised if VNS managed to lose. Dark Devil says let's cut through here, but that's, I don't know, that's kind of optimistic because that's a long cut, and there is a lot of stuff going down, and 13th Legion are barely holding anyway. Like, can they devote the army and the attention to actually making a push through here? It won't even get them straight to the trade anyway. And it seems that ACCM has remassed on the far left and is ready to kind of actually push in. It's got so many Mangudai now that these Hussars aren't going to be so much of a factor. I mean, I was kind of slating the Hussars and no Paladin earlier on, but I have to say they did tank quite well whilst ACCM's numbers kind of diminished a little bit. But now that ACCM has that critical mass, the Hussars aren't going to be so helpful. One of Emin's castles at least survived. Let's see these siege armor shots, if there are any. Good micro by Yannick there. And ACCM has spread out his Mangudai, so he's not going to be taking too many losses all at once. He can just kind of run in and take down siege armor, there's no problem. And suddenly it's looking like there's very little resistance over here really, as a little bit extra siege from Mongols, maybe a treb or 2 as we see coming, with maybe a couple of siege rams, and all of this will die. Looks like Yannick is going to go for that cut in the middle. They might be able to just sneak a few Mangudai from Emin, but really, Emin, if he has to devote attention to doing that, he's going to lose over here. This is terrifying now. 50, well no, those are Hussars. He's got like 50 cavalry, so like 25 Hussars, 25 Paladins, backed up by enormous amounts of Celt Siege. And Emin won't be able to hold this alone. Yannick needs to kind of become a factor again, but where's his production? All of his production is so far back that, and a few halves streaming from this is not really going to help. ACCM is demolishing everything now, as I said, and it's looking like the 13th Legion's only chance in this game is to make this work for them, but it's just a tiny throw of the dice. They've got to like throw 10 dice and roll 6 on each one for it to actually win them the game, because they're just losing everywhere now. And this is a really great hold and comeback by VNS. I thought ACCM was just going to have been too late on his push on the left hand side, and that Yannick and Emin would just take out 2 players from the game, but I think yellow slinging Fish back into the game was really crucial, because Paladins have been ineffective over here. That number of Paladins just backed up with some Celt Siege. And although Fish died first, kind of a half died if you like, when ACCM did eventually get into the base of Dark Devil, he did far more damage to Dark Devil than the 13th Legion did to Fish, because Fish kept sort of 90 villagers alive. He was actually gathering lots more gold and stuff right under the noses of the Yannick and Emin push, which just walked on by and left him to carry on gathering resources. 40 villagers over here, and this, which still has not been found. And now, I don't know if they're trying... Oh, that's just to clean up the trade and not to cut through. Seems like a lot of Mangudai for ACCM have gone down to random siege on your shots. Probably wasn't microing too well, but actually there's more Mangudai there, and I realised they were just on patrol on the same spot. But ACCM, I think, is just going to keep pushing. He needs a little bit of time just to get a few more Mangudai back, but he can tread all of this soon. Vodka has next to nothing. They seem to be sending a lot of resources to Emin, because I've noticed that Sling just keeps coming to Emin to try and give him Mangudai, but he's got all of these resources in the bank now, and he's housed at 185. They need that extra 15 Mangudai or whatever Mongol siege on the field now to actually hold. And look at this. Having lost this entire area, VNS have now reclaimed 100% of VNS Fish's initial base, and they also own most of Dark Devils. So they are owning 5 of the original 8 bases, if you like, and threatening to push into a 6th. 13th Legion just losing ground, losing territory. Their phenomenally inefficient trade is just one screen away from having a bunch of Mangudai in it, and it looking like they are gone, basically. Unless they do an almighty pushback over here, or they just come over here and completely wipe ACCM's pushback, then I think they look just done. Emin's sitting on 5,000 gold while Yannick doesn't have any and is 50 pop away from... And how much... And Vodka has 19 gold. Vodka needs paladins, and lots of them, and he has no gold, and Emin's sitting on 5,000, and... Okay, he's actually getting back up towards the pop cap now at least, but he needs to send some gold to Vodka, because otherwise this just isn't going to hold. ACCM was just kind of lacking Mangudai just a bit. Like, if he had another 10 Mangudai here, and he just needs a couple more siege weapons as well, just, you know, like 10 Mangudai, 2 or 3 siege youngers here, and he would actually be pushing in. But it seems like population dropped quite a lot there, and he just needed to remass a bit before making that one final push in and GGing them.
Yes.
I mean, this is just absolutely insane how much ground that Cool and Fish have made up on this side. They're now just coming in and destroying Emin's economy. Trade going idle. Because I don't know if the market was that those cards were traded with was deleted or something, but VNS Cool just finds this absolutely hilarious. He's constantly typing 11s, but if you look at the start of when Yannick got slung and went to Imp, 13th Legion took all of this ground like this and got to here, and that has been completely turned round all the way back the other way, and now they're just wrecking Emin's base, and there's nothing in sight to stop it. Absolutely nothing. Because where is Emin's army at this point? He has 23 Mangudai, and they're in the trade. They're in the trade.
Yes. Yes.
I was concentrating on the sides because it was looking like GG. I didn't notice that he'd actually gone for the trade raid, so that explains why he's losing on the right hand side. But ACCM has cleaned it up, and it looks like they deleted markets, managed to halt a lot of the trade carts, and although I think they've actually done reasonable cart losses, I suggest that Emin losing, like just diverting his army over to the far hand side and then losing his base was not worth killing the amount of trade that they did. That is still great trade for VNS, and it's GG because Emin is dead, Dark Devil is dead, Vodka is on the verge of being dead, really, as soon as ACCM puts his attention back onto this side of the map. And that's GG, so that's 2-1 to VNS, with VNS winning 13th Legion's home map Black Forest with a massive comeback after they looked dead. They really did. ACCM was held up for so long by Dark Devils walling on the left hand side, and Yannick and Emin was pretty much wiped out one player, although not enough, and had gained so much ground, and then Yellow just kind of reslung Orange back into the map. VNS Yellow, that is, and back into the game, and as soon as they came back with Paladins plus Celts, like Siege and Wodes combination, it was just a never-ending push with Emin and Yannick just losing ground whilst diverting some attention to the other side. And their last throw of the dice was the trade raid. And as I said, they needed to roll a lot of sixes with that trade raid, and it didn't happen. They didn't kill anywhere near enough carts, and that's just game over because Emin's base no longer exists. And importantly, the trade route no longer exists either, because they just have to go through all this. Trying to see if there's anything quite that really stands out from the achievements. Yeah. Well, look at the trade profit difference though. Let's see. Got players. Oh no, Emin actually got 15,000, which is pretty nice, and Dark Devil 10,000, but he was kind of like full sling and trade slinging anyway. But that VNS trade route was going to be so much better in the long term that I think. And you can see that some players, like Yannick in particular, just no trade throughout the entire game, and he was fully reliant on that sling from Dark Devil. And then as soon as Dark Devil kind of got wiped down to about 50-60 pop, then Yannick suddenly had no army anymore because he wasn't trading.